Hi, I'm Jaycee. I've been a part of the Good Shepherd Lutheran community for as long as I can remember. Through church school, middle school confirmation, and my own confirmation in the fall of 2024. During my freshman year, I started as a statistician for the Legacy girls wrestling team. But I decided to step onto the mat myself in December 2024 when I officially became a girls wrestler. Despite the whirlpool of my freshman year, filled full of distractions like wrestling practice, schoolwork, and the challenges of finding out I had dyslexia, my freshman year brought countless distractions, yet I made priority to teach church school and spend time in the youth room, often arriving sweaty, tired, still grateful for the comfort and connection it offered. The welcome, safe atmosphere of the youth room, known for its food, drinks, heartfelt connection, has always been a constant reminder of the importance of faith and community in my life. The demands of wrestling preparation for West Region and state competition while balancing homework, often clashing with my personal challenges such as recently being diagnosed with dyslexia, yet nothing compared to the heartbreak of losing someone close to my family. My dad's best friend Jim, who had been guiding figuring since second grade, got sick. After a severe heart infection and difficult surgeries, Jim spent 2 months in the hospital, eventually being air flighted to Mayo. As I worked through these challenges, the weight of Jim's illness had added an extra layer of emotional struggle. Despite it all, I powered through, juggling homework, wrestling practice, and caring for Jim's dog Walter, while trying to process the uncertainty and heartbreak that came with this illness. Amidst these trials, embraced my faith, leaning on the loved ones and support of those around me. The night before boys regional duels, my friend Allie had reached out to me and asked me if I was okay. Unsure why she asked, but she simply replied, "Never mind." As I had gone through a lot the last few months, I didn't dwell on it. I was trying to live in the moment with my wrestling team, as helped for concessions the night before boys' duels. After the game ended, my teammates and I helped set up mats for the boys' duels so they could rest up for the big day. It was the first time Legacy boys had ever qualified for this event. That night, my dad picked me up around 10:30. On the drive home, he was silent. I was worried I was in trouble, but I didn't ask. When we got home, my mom was crying, and I immediately knew. I said, "It's Jim, isn't it?" My parents both nodded. I collapsed to the floor. Jim had passed away Friday night, but my parents wanted me to have one last normal day before hearing the news. I cried. I talked with them about how this might make me feel better, believing that God has a plan. But I struggled to grasp the meaning behind it. Losing someone who had been like a second father to me, especially so close to regionals, was devastating. I had the choice to make: skip boys' duels or spend time with family, friends, or the team who supported me. I choose to cheer on the boys, determined to focus on the team rather than my grief. What I didn't know was that my mom had reached out to Pastor Bob and Taylor about Jim. At the boys' duels, I didn't tell anyone about Jim. I didn't want to take away from the team's focus. My friend Aaliyah Cullinan, who is a big role model to me, noticed me texting Taylor, the church lady, and Pastor Bob. When she asked if I was okay, I burst into tears, and I told her about the choice I had to make and how hard it was for me. Aaliyah supported my decision and encouraged me to go to regionals, assuring me that she had faith in me, even though I had only wrestled for half a month. After helping with boys' duels, we visited Sarah, Jim's wife, to learn about the funeral arrangements. Sarah hugged me as I cried and told me I needed to go to duels to make him proud. During the week of regionals, we spent time with Jim's family, enjoying their company, but let me tell you, cutting weight and funeral buffets are a cruel joke. They just don't mix. One day that week, my grandma had picked me up from school and asked me, "Are you going to regionals or the funeral?" I felt overwhelmed, but deep down, I knew that I had to do it. My mom told me I didn't have a choice. I was going to make it to regionals because she believed in me. That Wednesday, I attended the youth room, and everyone there was wishing me good luck. More people who believed in me. We left for regionals on Thursday afternoon. That night I prayed, reminded myself to stay focused. On Friday morning, I arrived, nervous but determined. I decided to use the bottle up emotions to wrestle for Jim. My first match was going to be tough. It was a girl from Mandan who had been wrestling since she could walk. I started to get scared, but Aaliyah reassured me, said, "You've got this. You only need 2 matches to qualify for state." I lost my first one, but came back and won my second and third. Although I lost my 4th match, I rallied and won my 5th match, placing 7th at regionals. I was so happy I couldn't stop smiling. Leading up to state, my schedule was packed with early morning practices, late night homework sessions, and another wrestling practice to end each day. I didn't have the chance to update Taylor or Bob or the church community about how I was doing. When I finally arrived at state, seated 15 out of 16 girls, I knew I had to give it everything for Jim. After losing my first match, I found redemption in the second and made it to the next day. That evening, after I prayed, tomorrow is my redemption day. I had to make it my first match to keep going, and there was one reason I was here. It was for Jim. Each and every match was filled with determination, and although I wasn't expected to place, I still managed to win my first match that day. With each match, I couldn't help but smile. I wasn't supposed to be on the podium, yet I finished 7th place, becoming the number 1 upset over all girls. Walking onto the mat, I was filled with pride and continued to smile. My coaches believed in me, but they all admitted they didn't think I was gonna place. I knew that Jim was with me in spirit. As I hugged my dad, I said for Jim. John 10:27 reminds us, "My sheep hear my voice, I know them, and they follow." You may not recognize his voice leading you, but you will. Have people who love you and care for you, helping you along the way. John 10:29 remind us, "What my Father has given me is greater than all else, and no one can snatch it out of the Father's hands. He has given the opportunity for a reason, because he has faith in you, just as my coaches, teammates, and friends and family and Jim did." As I received texts from everyone back home watching on TV or following me on track wrestling, it felt like God and Jim were guiding me every step of the way. I've always sensed God's presence participating in LYO and other youth activities around Good Shepherd. I've constantly gone to church, but there are times when it's hard to see God or understand his plan. Though we may never fully understand his plan, I've learned that faith, trust, and surrounding ourselves with good people and can guide us through even the hardest times. Faith has always been something that's part of my life, even during the hardest times. Something holding on to faith is difficult, but those moments have taught me the most about God's love and my own strength. Even though in the toughest challenges, faith reminds me I'm never alone, that God's guidance, I'm capable of anything.